Country music all the way from Widnes. They're a great band, The Grand. Been trying to get them in on the show for ages. Don't even know if they're still together now. They kept promising to come in. Then I've heard nothing, but they're a great band. The Grand there, country music there from Widnes. And stand by for my guest, Vince Hale. In fact, he's with me now. Good morning, Vince. Good morning. Good afternoon, Vince, and welcome.
Yeah, nice to see you, Bill.
And you,
long
mate.
time no see, yeah.
Yeah, bump into each other occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah. But, yeah.
Vince Hale, comedian, singer, actor, and golfer.
Yeah, sportsman.
Sportsman supreme. That's right. Okay, quick quiz question for you to start off, Vince.
Yep.
Okay, who was the most famous bass player you've ever had?
The most famous bass player we have ever had.
Yeah.
In
all the years you've been together with all your bands.
God, you've got me famous.
This is a bass player with the Teenage Rebels.
That was me.
Well, this was...
Oh, I know you meant. Sorry, yeah, Frankie Vaughan.
Frankie Vaughan.
Vaughan,
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh, God, do you know I was 12?
Were you only 12?
I was 12 then at the...
The Teenage Rebels were appearing at a church. Frankie Vaughan, who was well connected with the Liverpool Boys Association,
Yeah.
I remember him coming the ranking. Frankie Vaughan studying on bass player with the band.
Do you know what? No, do you know what that was? Wasn't a church. Do you know what it was?
No.
The Royal Festival Hall.
Was it?
What he did, Frankie, he did a lot for boys' clubs, you know,
Oh,
and he
no,
had
that,
it all
yeah.
over all over the country, and he put this show on at the Royal Festival Hall. So at 12, when I was 12, and on the Royal Festival Hall.
With the Teenage Rebels.
Yeah.
That was your first band?
Yeah. What happened?
No, I mean, you've been in the business a long time.
A long, long time, yeah. It's been good. It's been good to me, really, yeah.
And you've adjusted, haven't you? Because, you know, you can't be a Merseybeat band forever. You've adjusted each side of your career.
Yeah, well, when we were, the bands we played through, and then I must have had this sort of thing in my mind, you know, about comedy or something. We started doing comedy in the bands, and then when you when you finally split up, you know, and you go on your own, the idea was to be a singer and maybe crack the odd gag. But like I've explained before, when you've had your own backing and you go to some of these clubs, you know, have you got your dots? Yeah, well, I hope they got pictures on them. I can't read, you know, and things like that. Or remember one time at Dovecot Labour, the drummer played you on. You had to come on like Max Wall. Anyway, but so then one gag become two, and then a bit more, and then the dinners came in, you know, the sportsman's dinners, and you just evolved.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, I sort of dropped into the acting bit with the Bleasdale thing, Boys from the Black Stuff, and things like that. And then the call for Brookside, and there you go. It's just it just progresses. I suppose if you're in it long enough.
I think you can actually say, I mean, basically, you could say it happened. It happened because doors opened for you, didn't you? Without you going looking for them, doors opened for you.
True. I've got to be honest, very lucky, really. As I've explained before to anybody said before to be bored, the acting came about just through playing football with Alan Bleasdale.
Well, most Brookside stars appeared like that. They weren't professionals. They went straight into Brookie.
Yeah, that's right. And
it worked.
It did work because I mean it was quite acclaimed, you know, in the business for the actual technical side of it, and it was a good program. And it was groundbreaking at the time, wasn't it?
Oh, totally is. But you had a great duo in the Merseybeat days, didn't you, with Vince Hale and the Talisman, Vince Hale and the TTs. I mean, you're regular at the Cavern. You probably did all the Merseybeat clubs.
Oh yeah. Iron Door, remember that, and the Pyramids and things like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And
they were good days.
They were great days. They really were. They were great days. Everybody sort of mucked in and got along with it. You know, it's there wasn't any sort of animosity, really, you know.
No, we'd all go down the Cardoma.
Yeah, Cardoma. Cardoma with half a dozen people used to have BOAC bags. Do you remember that? Or scarves.
Yeah.
And we'd sling it round.
And we'd lie to each other as well.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of gigs coming off in London soon.
That's right,
Is this recording manager going to come and...
That's right, yeah. You know, we just picked up the $3,000 the other night, you know. And yeah, it was called... Yeah, stand in your corner, really, yeah.
They were good days. But they were good teaching days, weren't they? You learnt your profession, you know, because, I mean, when you're standing up on your own, you know, with nobody behind you, you've got to have the experience to cope with that.
Yeah, well, you do gain it, believe me. When you first start off and you're sort of struggling through and you get through and you're like, well, I can't do that one again and things like this. It is an experience. You just work on it and eventually, you know, you get something that will...
I don't know if you experienced, Vince, but in those days there was a lot of animosity, wasn't there, from comedians?
Oh, they didn't like it.
To comedians, to singers who came and told jokes.
Yes.
There was a lot of animosity, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. I'll be honest, there one comic, I won't remember, he's gone now, and he went, listen, son, what do you want to be? Do you want to be? I said, I just want to be an entertainer. I mean, to say, if you can sing, why not? I mean, look at Doddy. Doddy had number ones, didn't he?
Doddy had number ones, but he was brilliant.
Doddy was exceptional.
I've quoted this difference, but the difference between Ken Dodd and Des O'Connor, right? Ken Dodd had hit records, including number ones, but his act was still comedy.
Yes.
He might throw an odd song in. Des O'Connor, once he had hit records, most of his act was singing.
Yeah,
and that's an easy way out.
I've thought, funny enough, I've thought about this. I mean, like, what was he really? I mean, we're not knocking because he did have a charisma. He was more like a sort of host, really, wasn't he? He compared to playing him, and he did the odd song. He wasn't, he wasn't the greatest singer in the world, but he
had the hits.
He got through. He wasn't the greatest comic in the world. He'd do the odd gag. He was just Max Bygraves was a bit like that, wasn't it? I mean, you know, sing along a Max sold thousands.
But when you were around doing comedy, all the giants were there, weren't they? Eddie Flanagan was there, Jackie Hamilton was there. You know, you were there to be compared.
And they never got the recognition they deserved, really. When you see comics now, they're actually playing halls. They're actually playing arenas. Yeah. It's the age coming in. They're playing arenas now. I'm not being critical, but you know, I mean, maybe some of them shouldn't be, but they sell out. They sell out, but in them days, the Eddie Flanagans, the Jackie Hamiltons, the Joey Kays, they never got that opportunity to play that.
The Empire was the biggest gig they would ever.
Oh yeah, and that would be colossal.
And they were happy with that.
Yeah, but I mean, when you hear some of the laughter now on the TV programs coming in, those comics wouldn't have been happy with that response. They wanted. They used to get belly laughs.
When you moved from being a singer to a comedian, did you have anybody that you particularly looked up to that you modelled your style on or anything?
I thought Tom O'Connor was as good as anybody in the whole country.
Tom O'Connor and Peter Kay are not miles apart, you know.
They're not.
Because
they're not. And if you can maybe a little bit further back, Al Reed.
Yeah.
Same thing, yeah. Tom was very
observation
all the time, and although he did get recognition, he didn't get the recognition he deserved. You know, he had a couple of quiz programs, didn't he? But it should have been the Tom O'Connor show and things. I mean, I thought he was brilliant, Tom. Yeah.
And you listen to some of Tom O'Connor's albums; they still stand the test of time.
Very funny.
Observational comedy always will.
Very funny, yeah.
You know, I mean, Sean Stars is probably one of our best at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's kept going. Mick Miller, to me, it stands head and shoulders above everyone.
There's a point, Mick Miller. I mean, I'll tell you a little story. I don't know. There was at the Royal Command show a couple of years ago. Tony Barton told me this. I'm watching it, and the next thing.
Tony Barton, the magician.
No, Tony. Anyway, the next thing is the announcer, welcome Mick Miller. Mick Miller come on and did it, you know.
Yeah.
And then, Bill, at the end of the show, at the finale, I'm looking for Mick, and he didn't come on.
Yeah.
And Tony Barton was telling me, he said, you know why? I said, no. He said, he was the warm-up. Oh. But when they did the thing through, the producer said, hey, put him on. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't happy with a couple of other guys. I mean, they got the spot. But Mick wasn't even, he was just a warm-up, but they put him on. And he should have been on anyway, shouldn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mick is one of the few who stands as a regular comic and as a new comic as well. He breaches both sides.
He does, yeah.
You know. But I'm like you. I wouldn't pay 80 quid to go to the arena and look at a television screen.
No. How do you mean?
Well, that's what happens. You go to the arena, you pay 80 quid for the tickets, and you're so far back, you're looking at the television screen, aren't you?
Yeah, and then And then when they,
So did you...
and then when they make a video of it, then they stick the laughter on, don't they?
Oh. How near did you come to making it as a singer, Vince? Because you were in quite a few bands, good following.
How near we come to make it? I don't know. We did New Faces, didn't we? We got beat by Roger De Courcy. Remember, I'll never forget that comment by, who was it, Steve Clement or something. He said, I was playing golf with this chap yesterday. I didn't realise he was that good. He meant Roger, you know.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Yeah, maybe we didn't have the right management. Like, you can't blame it on the management because, I mean, you know, cream generally rises to the top. Maybe we just lacked that little bit. But, you know, a little bit of management might have helped, you know.
And as you're getting on a bit as I am, we've had our health problems as well, Vince. And you've battled through quite a few big health problems.
Yeah, well, I had the kidney transplant 12 years ago. Yeah, I got a thing called good pastures syndrome. That, believe it or not, Bill, there are doctors that have never heard of it. Yeah. And they still don't know what causes it. It's 1 in 2 million.
But you get over it. You got over it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I couldn't win the lottery, could I?
Are you still playing football?
No, the occasional game of rugby and American football. No, I'm playing golf now.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and then we'll talk about Brookie because that's something probably you get remembered for more than anything, as all the Brookie cast have.
It's really important that you help us help you this winter by choosing the right NHS.
Liverpool Live.
My guest is Vince Earle, a survivor from the Merseybeat days into the acting days into now being a champion golfer. Okay, I mean, as you said, the big break came when you, from Brookside, he didn't audition or anything like that. He just played football with Alan Bleasdale.
That was in for Boys from the Black Stuff, Town for the West, and the film No Surrender. No, Billy, if you remember, the time with Brookside, I was also, Alan wrote a thing called GBH, and there was going to be a part in that, but then I'm lying in bed, as I tend to do, and the phone went, and it was, funny enough, it was the Ricky McCabe office that said Brookside had been on, and they'd like you to go and talk. But apparently, it came from Wally. You know Wally? Maybe you as well. Apparently, Mal Young, the producer, was saying, we're looking for this character or something. And, blah, blah, blah. And Wally it was. It said, well, what about Vince Earle? Because he's done the out on it. And apparently, Mal Young was telling me, he went, oh yeah, that's a point. How do I get hold of him? Wally didn't have my number. So he said, well, I know he does stuff through Ricky McCabe. So Ricky put it in and got percentage, and he had nothing to do with the job, really.
Well, you said about the Boys and the Black Stuff, the park came up from playing footy with Alan Bleasdale.
Yes, that's right.
Which allows me to mention, Vince, what a great footballer Alan Bleasdale was as well.
Yeah, and tough.
Oh, very tough indeed.
Yeah, bang right through, yeah.
Then you did that, you did No Surrender,
Yeah, we did
You
No
know?
Surrender. That was the film. That was
That was great.
that still stands up,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
All the Bleasy stuff stands up, you know.
It's got that dark comedy that cuts through. Yeah, it's amazing.
But it's the legacy of Brookside that lives on, isn't it?
It's still, yes, I know. You know what? I mean, it's been off the screen for 20 years. I still get stopped in the street.
Oh, you will be.
All right, Ron, how you doing? And, you know, how's Bev, how's Dee Dee, you know, things like that. What about that chicken? And all kinds of things. You know, and I had some good storylines, to be fair.
You did. The writers picked some great stuff for you,
Yeah.
which obviously you don't know about till you get given the script.
No.
And you must think, wow, I'm a lucky guy. I can fit into this.
Well, yeah, it reflected that the farmer that shot the guy, you know. I mean, they brought that up with me. I shot an intruder in the house and went to jail. And, the things like that. It was quite a lot of... With the family, they were, you know, it was like comedy type thing. But the other thing with Ron is if there was anything controversial to say,
Ron
they'd
Dixon
give it
said
to Ron.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, he was a racist, but he wasn't a racist. He didn't know he didn't count,
No,
you know.
no.
Like one thing he said, he's like, listen, why don't they give them all a few bob and they'll go back home?
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, what about Mick? And he goes, what are you talking about, Mick? Oh, about Mick Johnson. Well, Mick, no, you know, Mick's one of ours. You know what I mean? That was his
Great
was
writing.
yeah,
Great writing.
He was, yeah.
Absolutely great writing.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the great thing is, you've got to have a part which people talk about. You've got to have some controversy about you, haven't you, to get people's reaction.
Yes.
And you got some really plump stuff for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm very grateful for you. Like I say, anything controversial he said, and of course he'd row with Max. But, next door, they were completely opposite, you know. Yeah. Only I still see Stephen Pinder. He just lives about a mile from me.
I'm amazed none of the channels is re-showing it. And maybe...
Well, people keep saying to me, honestly, Billy, I couldn't count how many times people said to me, Brookside's coming back, isn't it? I heard. I said, well, no, I've not heard anything. I said they couldn't come back because the close went to a recycling thing. But then somebody said there's some channel or something, some TV channel that it's showing them. I haven't heard of that,
No,
have you? I haven't heard of that.
This will happen because I've suggested this to Lynn Staunton from the Variety Club many times over the years. I've said to her so many times, let's have a Variety Club dinner as a tribute to the Brookside stars, and let's get them all in again. Vince,
that'd be good.
Sinbad,
Yep.
Ricky Tomlinson, they're all still, Mick, they're all still about, let's do a tribute to Brookside, and the top table is all the Brookside gang. And I've suggested that to her early, yeah, but the Variety Club doesn't exist in the Liverpool anymore, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't, does it? No,
so, you know, but I mean, I'd pay to go and
didn't they amalgamate with Manchester or something years ago? Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Bill. Good idea.
So I've mentioned the singer, I've mentioned the actor, I've mentioned the golfer. I have not mentioned the promoter yet because you're also a promoter.
By the way, I've cut down the golf. I only play during the day now.
Okay. So you're a promoter now. You've been doing 60s weekends in Llandudno for how many years now?
24 years. This is the 24th year, yeah.
How many have you done?
Me? How many have I done?
How many have you done at Llandudno?
24?
Oh, because we
20.
did 58 at Ponce.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
but hang on. I don't think it was 58. I know that when we first started, we used to do it twice. We used to do it November and April.
Yeah, we did it twice.
And then the hotel said, look, they won't. It used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday lunch, they go home. And then they said, look, we're going to have 3 nights. I said, well, you can't, you know, it'd be too expensive. So we settled on the 3rd weekend in January. And you normally wouldn't give that spot to a dry cleaner, would you, the 3rd week? But I mean, it works for us.
No, it does work because, you know, Scousers getting together.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Under the one roof. They love it. We did it with
they're fantastic.
Ponson's. You're doing it with Llandudno. At a good hotel as well, the Grand. It's right in the middle of everything. It's right on the promenade.
It's the biggest hotel in Llandudno, and it's good.
And Llandudno has the added advantage. They got some great charity shops there as well. lots of it.
I tell you what, though,
we go to the Conservative Club now and then, you know, there just for a laugh when we go.
I know, I've noticed that everyone's got charity, but I'll tell you what, Llandudno is a very, very, very pretty town.
Oh, it is.
And at night, when you look along that beach and the lights are on of the of the board now. So I know it sounds, you think you're in Monte Carlo. It looks absolutely, and it's got a sort of microclimate, Bill. Believe me, you can be freezing, but you go to Llandudno and it's fine.
And shopping, the same as when we did Pontins in Southport. It's piles of shopping for
Lots
them to
of
go to as well.
Lots of them, yeah. And the people who come are great. We do a raffle for Clare House,
Yeah.
and we have some, and people bring prizes.
I'm sure they do.
I'll put that in a raffle, Vince. Yeah. Everything, yeah. It's been good, yeah.
And the people themselves are the stars as they were at Pontins. They're so funny, the people who go there.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody was at Pontins. Who owns Pontins now? Britannia.
Oh,
Same people who own the hotel.
They killed Pontins.
Yeah.
They killed it.
Did they?
So this weekend is the 27th, 28th and 29th. So there are shows, one on the Friday night.
Yeah, January, yeah, 27, 28, 20. Well, that's only a week next Friday it starts.
So
sorry.
Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night?
No,
Sunday
it's
afternoon.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right through dinner, bed and breakfast. Three bands a night, 3 different bands. And they're all down there. And then we do a late show upstairs. That goes on till about 2 o'clock. I compare it and also went with my band on the Saturday night. We have a guest comedian on the Sunday lunch. This time it's Pauline.
Yeah.
Pauline Daniels doing it. So that's it, yeah, and a whole lot there. And it's warm. That's the main thing. It's a warm hotel.
As I said, the great thing is, as well as attending all those shows and your dinner and all that, you get all day to do the shopping if you want as well.
Yeah.
So
Just tell the people who's on.
it's the Vince Ale attraction.
Boom, boom,
Bum,
boom.
bum, bum, bum. Carl Terry and the Cruisers.
My God, we're
Say
going
no
back.
more. The Connection, the Shakers, great band. The
They are.
Kevin's resident band, the
Yeah.
Shakers, the Jalapenos. They're great as well.
What an act, them.
Great band. Cliff Roberts and the Rockers. He's determined not to get old. Cliff Roberts.
He won't
isn't
go
he?
there. He won't. He's dead, but he won't lie down.
He
though.
won't. He's still Cliff Richard.
Yes.
The
CR Cliff Roberts.
The Vantage 3, the Biz. Then there are late shows with Joey Wall, great vocalist, Dave Yozza Hughes, and Pauline Daniels Sunday afternoon to round off the afternoon with laughing.
Yeah, all that for a measly price of
167.
167.
167. 3 nights, dinner, bed, and breakfast, Sunday brunch, and free entry to all the acts. Now, if you want to go along, you can phone 01244 641 952. 01244 641 952. Or you can email irene.earl@talktalk.net. That's a good one for you, Vince, talktalk.net.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play a track now which you might remember because I've got to hear it from a show it was a concert for Colin. We did a concert for Colin Manley at the Empire.
We did.
Remember it?
We did.
And we had the Swinging Blue Jeans, the Searchers, the Mersey Beats, Herman's Hermits, the Remo and Friends, Peter Sarsted and Ray Brown. And you and your band as well, of course. And we had Marmalade and Dave D and Chip Hawkes. Great night at the
I remember
Empire.
Peter
that was.
Starr because they put in a slab of beer, and I think he drank most of it.
So, well, glad to see that. You're up and running. You're okay now.
But I'm all right, Billy. Yeah, I'm coming
You've
on.
survived.
Yeah, we got to keep going. There's only a few of us left.
Yeah,
Bill.
we'll have to start a band called the Survivors.
That's right, yeah.
That's tempting
Yeah,
fate, though,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So here you are, Vince, live on stage at the Empire with Always on My Mind. And thanks for popping in.
Pleasure, Billy. All the best.